Good afternoon, everybody. I'm wondering how long it's going to take before they delete this video or they deactivate my page. For those who do not know me, I go by the name of Rubia Garcia. What I'm talking about today, or what I'm going to talk about today, is President Trump, Roger Goodell, Mike Pence, the whole NFL controversy and things like that. And I came across something interesting. What brought this up, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know a whole lot about football. I have 8 older brothers, so that's about the extent of knowledge that I have when it comes to football. But with that being said, I read earlier today that Roger Goodell was basically going to be having talks with the NFL owners regarding the national anthem, quite possibly making it necessary for the players to stand for the national anthem. Now, again, I don't know a whole lot about football, but from what I'm understanding is if it's within their contract, then they're going to have to stand up for the national anthem, which I find to be absolutely ridiculous, being that their constitutional rights shouldn't be violated. But hey, man, it is what it is. But with that being said, the NFL is a private entity and they have the power in order to do that. Again, like I said, I don't know a whole lot about football, but I do know stuff about the Constitution. And I think that what pretty much what brought all of this up is, number one, I think that President Trump pretty much offended the rich owners of the NFL players, of the NFL teams. Maybe because he wanted a team back in the day, didn't get one, so on and so forth. But we'll move on from that. But I think that it's all sparking up because of what happened. It just keeps escalating, right? So Mike Pence, our vice president, decides to go show up to a game this past weekend, right? And he decides to get up and walk out because the players are not standing for the national anthem. I just find that completely hilarious and ironic, the hypocrisy that you are there as the vice president of the United States and you are there legit. This is common sense. You are protesting the protesters. That's number one. And then you say people argue and say that the NFL is no place for protests. Well, I dare say to Mike Pence and Donald Trump that if that's the case, then the NFL is no place for your PR stunts or your reality television politics. It's no place for all of those things. Maybe if we would address the issues, the social injustices within this country prior to Colin Kaepernick taking a knee, we wouldn't be in this situation. Maybe if we would address all these things before President Tiny Twitter Hands got on national television and called people who are peacefully protesting, called them SOBs and calling for their firing, maybe we wouldn't be at this point. But let's get to the heart of the video and the whole message that I'm trying to get across. Since he got on national television and he told the NFL, a private entity, and he told them that it was, he called for their firing, right? So in that, I came across one of the beautiful laws within the United States. It's the U.S. Code, I wrote it down. I think it's Title 18, Part 1, Chapter 11, 227. And it says, wrongfully influencing a private entity's employment decision by a member of Congress or an officer or employee of the legislative or executive branch. Whoever, being a covered government person with the intent to influence solely on the basis of partisan political affiliation, an employment decision or employment practice of any private entity. The NFL being a private entity, correct? And one could argue that the Black Lives Matter protest could be that political affiliation. And being that these people are working for the private entity and they are affiliating themselves in support of this political affiliation, like I said, one could argue that President Donald Trump is violating U.S. Code Title 18, Part 1, Chapter 11, 227, which it says, any person doing this shall be fined under this title or imprisoned for not more than 15 years or both, and may be disqualified from holding any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. Now, isn't that something? Sounds ridiculous, right? So I want to match you a firing. Yeah, listen. I want to match you a firing, and I want to raise you an impeachment in a 15-year prison sentence. It sounds ridiculous, right? It sounds ridiculous, almost as ridiculous as you violating the First Amendment right of these NFL football players and trying to make them suppress their freedom of speech and the right to peacefully protest. So if you're going to do one, I suggest you do the other. But that's just my opinion. Teach your life. Mwah.